On the news, federal government shifts population census to May. INEC begins distribution of electoral materials for the governorship and state assembly elections. And Atiku and the PDP withdraw fresh applications against INEC. Thank you for joining us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Simisola Adigun. The federal government has shifted the population and housing census earlier scheduled for May 29 to a later date in May. Lai Mohammed, Minister of Information and Culture, announced the development on Wednesday at the end of the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja. Mohammed told State House correspondents that the decision was necessitated by the rescheduling of the gubernatorial elections to March 18. He also said that the council approved the sum of 2.8 billion naira for the National Population Commission (NPC) to procure software to be used for the conduct of the census. With just 2 days to the March 18 governorship and state assembly elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has commenced the distribution of electoral materials to all polling units. The distribution took place at the premises of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Osogbo branch, and was supervised by the State INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner Motiu Adegoke. Speaking before the commencement of the exercise, Adegoke assured that the commission would scale up its level of arrangement, procedures, and security due to the high stakes attached to the election. He said armed security operatives would be on duty at collation centers across the state, adding that operatives would also deploy more men to violent-prone areas to ensure hitch-free polls. Now, it's been 2 weeks since the presidential election took place nationwide, but despite the seeming enthusiasm of the citizens, numbers have shown that there was a low turnout of voters. Many have attributed the voter apathy to suppression, voter intimidation, and the scarcity of money and fuel. Aggrieved opposition parties also have approached the court to challenge the outcome of the February 25 presidential election and the emergence of APC's Bola Tinubu as a winner. Now, to weigh in on these existing factors leading to the coming election, political affairs analyst joins me now on the news. Thank you for joining me, Omori Ayigbe. Now, the mode of transmission of the presidential election results remains the bone of contention, and aggrieved parties are still in court. Now, do you think INEC will make the desired adjustment in Saturday's election?
Yes, thank you for having me. Yes, I think INEC will make the necessary adjustment because of the backlash it had in the 25th February election. INEC received local and international backlash from the election. So many people did condemn the process that didn't go through to what INEC committed itself to do. So I believe that INEC will do the needful now, because I think sincerely that the commission will want to try to adjust its image that has been already been affected by the last election. Yes, I think the commission will want to in quote, repair is almost damaged reputation from the last election.
Okay, so how do you expect the coming elections to play out, considering that INEC had to postpone the conduct by 1 week? Now, do you think that the electoral body is prepared for the elections?
The postponement has nothing to do with the preparation of INEC. INEC was prepared to hold the election on March 11. What led to the postponement was because of the reconfiguration of the bimodal voter accreditation system, the BVAS, due to the court order restraining INEC from going ahead with it, because the parties, PDP and APC, wanted to use the BVAS as a piece of evidence in their own case. They wanted to inspect the BVAS across used in that election. And you know that the BVAS will be used in the March 11th election.
What did this
and the time was too close to the election. INEC could not reconfigure them. As I speak now, they've all been reconfigured, and non-sensitive materials have started moving out. Tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, the sensitive material will begin to move appropriately. And the BVAS is a sensitive material for the election.
All right, election expert Omori Ayigbe, many thanks for your contribution and your time. Moving on, the People's Democratic Party and its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar have withdrawn an application they filed to compel the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to allow their agents to participate in the process of sorting out ballot papers that were used for the February 25 presidential election. Both the PDP and Atiku are separately challenging the outcome of the election that was declared in favor of the candidate of the ruling All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu. According to the applicants, the decision is a fallout of a meeting with the leadership of INEC on Tuesday, owing to challenges that administrative bottlenecks that they encountered at the INEC office where they went for access to the election materials as ordered by the court. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has advised the incoming 10th National Assembly to maintain a bipartisan approach that prioritizes the national interest amid its deliberations. Lawan said this when he received the outgoing British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Catriona Liang, in his office in Abuja on Tuesday. While congratulating the incoming National Assembly, Lawan said that the relationship between the Assembly and the Executive should be based on national interest. Speaking earlier, Liang urged citizens to be proud of the just concluded presidential elections despite the disappointment. While expressing her joy over her stay in Nigeria, the outgoing ambassador said she had made very good acquaintances during her stay.
All the many bills you've helped navigate through Parliament, which is, of course, the foundation of the whole governance process. You know, it's what goes on in the Parliament and the Senate is really the foundation of a democracy. And I think you've done an amazing job, and we've worked very well with you on all of that. So this is really just for me to say farewell, to say thank you. But not the end. I hope we'll continue to, whatever role you move into, I'll be certainly watching Nigeria very closely, and I hope my successor, Richard Montgomery, will be able to forge a strong relationship with you in your new position as Senator-elect.
I believe that the 10th National Assembly will have many experienced legislators, both in the Senate and the House, but with 70% of the senators and members-elect, the call I would make here is for the next National Assembly to ensure fast and serious capacity building as quickly as we can, because we need to bring into form that the members of the Parliament will be able to kickstart immediately. So we have to make every possible effort to provide for capacity building for our colleagues, especially those who are new. And since 70%, it's almost 70%, that means we just have to spend a lot of resources. And I will take this opportunity to say that the National Assembly needs a lot more resources for it to be in the kind of form and shape that will provide the kind of service, parliamentary service to the Nigerian people.
The Omoluabi Coalition Group and the Yoruba Council Worldwide has called for the removal of the Labour Party governorship candidate of Lagos State, Gbadebo Rhodes Viva, for inciting fear among citizens in the state. Speaking at the conference, which was held on Wednesday in Lagos, the Director General Omoluabi Coalition Group, Tunji Balogun, condemned the activities of the Labour Party governorship candidate, saying the desperation of the candidate is going higher by terrorizing, threatening and inciting fears on the citizens of Lagos. He, however, charged Lagosians to disregard any fear mounted deliberately by the Labour Party candidate to stir up violence. On his part, the President, Yoruba Council Worldwide, Oladotun Hassan, has declared support and endorsed Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, his second-term bid. He also appealed to citizens to come out en masse to vote for the governor on March 18.
We are not unaware of Mr. Gbadebo's treacherous and deceitful narratives, deliberately calculated at causing ethnic tensions and beating drums of war, aiming at ensuring destabilizing the 18th March 2023 gubernatorial and Lagos State Assembly election in Lagos State. We hereby use this medium to sound as a note of caution that in as much as we are pleased to accommodate and working with all ethnic groups, particularly the Igbo extractions, most of whom we share common religious, social, and marital affinities. We reiterate that no one should be used as a political channel to override and abuse the Yoruba uncommon hospitable magnanimity and take our unreserved love for good neighborliness and respect for granted.
That there is no need for PDP to feature any candidates. And I'm putting it to all PDP members across Lagos State that I, Oladoto Azan, from today henceforth, I will be joining Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu in steering the ship of progress under the All Progressive Congress.
We're here to actually endorse the governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and his deputy, Hamzat. So, and the only way we can do that is, for all of us to come out in mass on the 18th of March and make sure we vote wisely, we vote the right candidates.
The Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership, CACOL, and the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, have reiterated the need for politicians to create an inclusive atmosphere during the forthcoming governorship election. The chairman of CACOL, Debo Adeniran, made this known during a feedback conference which was held in Lagos on Wednesday, themed prioritizing anti-corruption and social inclusion during the 2023 governorship elections in Lagos State. Speaking further, Adeniran urged Lagos residents to hold their leaders accountable during and after the elections.
Most of the political parties actually took us seriously, and they tailored their agenda to suit the purpose of various sectors of Nigerian society. They also promised that they are going to make priority the anti-corruption agenda, that they are going to confront corruption crimes if they won election. And many of them made it part and parcel of their program and manifestos that women, youth, and disabled person or differently abled people will be mainstreamed into whatever they are doing. We have got some of the political parties, especially the major ones, the frontliners. We've got them to assure us that even the budget process will not be done on behalf of the people. That the people at the grassroots will be made part and parcel of the budgeting process. They assured us that they are going to carry out needs assessment.
Government also needs to do more to look into communities where they have untarred roads. Even if they cannot tar every road for now, they can upgrade them and make them motorable.
Justice S.I. Opara of the Imo State High Court, sitting in Owerri, the state capital, have on Wednesday denied the immediate past Deputy Governor of the state, Gerald Irona, bail after the prosecution argued that his bail application was filed late on Monday. The prosecutors argued that as of Wednesday morning, when the accused was arraigned, the 48 hours allowed by law to enable the prosecutors to respond on points of law subsisted. They said it would be unlawful for the judge to entertain the bail application when a counter bail application had not been filed by the prosecutors. Following the gruesome murder of the Labour Party candidate for Enugu East Senatorial District, Oyibo Chukwu, just days preceding the February 25 presidential election, a non-partisan group, Nsukka Professionals Association, have expressed regret that no arrests have been made since the incident. President of the group, Charles Nwodo, who briefed journalists on Tuesday in Lagos, also raised an alarm over plans by some political gladiators to cause violence during the coming governorship and State House of Assembly elections, especially in the Enugu East Senatorial districts. Omodo urged the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, to dispatch a special team of detectives to Enugu State with a mandate to seek out and apprehend all those directly connected with the crime, no matter their status or extent of connections in the society.
The brutal assassination of the Labour Party candidate for Enugu East Senatorial District in the days preceding the February 25, 2023 elections by individuals who are yet to be apprehended. We are appalled that no arrests have been made and no suspects have been interrogated by the security agencies to date. The Inspector General of Police is implored to dispatch a special team of detectives to Enugu State with a mandate to seek out and apprehend all those directly or indirectly connected with this heinous crime, no matter their status or extent of connections in the society. The Nsukka Professional Associations announces a donation of 1 million naira to the family of the slain politician in humanitarian solidarity for their grief, along with all persons of goodwill in Enugu State and Nigeria. It is our resolve to ensure that this crime is thoroughly investigated and justice served on the guilty in accordance with our laws. B. Reports of violence and electoral malpractices. Credible reports of plans by desperate politicians in Enugu State to compromise key officials of INEC, the Nigeria Police Force, the Nigeria Army, and other security agencies in Enugu State, with a view to frustrate the conduct of free, fair, and credible elections. We are informed that an INEC Enugu State official, Mrs. Ife Naono, has been specifically accused of being the coordinator of the plots to disenfranchise Enugu voters. We call on the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to immediately recuse this staff from all official activities related to the forthcoming election, so as to reinforce the credibility of the electoral process and also protect the career of this staff in the event that she is innocent of the accusation.
Take a break here, but still to come, Nigeria's inflation rate rises further to 21.91% in February 2023. We'll bring you details when we return. Welcome back. Now here's a recap of our top stories tonight. The federal government has shifted the population and housing census earlier scheduled for March 29 to a later date in May. Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information and Culture, announced the development on Wednesday at the end of the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja. Mohammed told State House correspondents that the decision was necessitated by the rescheduling of the governorship election to March 18. We also told you that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has commenced the distribution of electoral materials to all polling units in readiness for the governorship and state assembly elections. Speaking during the exercise at the premises of the Central Bank of Nigeria in Osogbo branch, the State INEC Resident Electoral Commission Mutiu Adegoke assured that the commission would scale up its level of arrangement procedures and security due to the high stakes attached to the elections. In case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Nigeria is among 54 other countries with its health, workforce support and safeguard list struggling with personnel shortages. According to the World Health Organization, the impact of COVID-19 and widespread disruptions to health services, health workers in these countries continue to seek better paid opportunities in wealthier countries. The affected countries have universal health coverage index of below 55 and a health workforce density below the global median of 49 medical doctors, nursing and midwifery personnel per 10,000 people. WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus said the list should be used to inform advocacy, policy dialogue at all levels, and financing efforts in support of health workforce, education, and employment in these countries. We'll take another break and return with business updates. Stay with us. Welcome back. Mary Kanu joins us now with updates in business. Over to you now, Mary.
Thank you, Simisola. Helen, welcome to Business News. The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, says the country's headline inflation rate rose to 21.91% in February 2023 compared to 21.82% of January 2023, indicating an increase of 0.09 percent points. The inflation rate data is contained in the latest CPI report released on Wednesday by the NBS. The report comes as the country attempts to bounce back from months of naira scarcity occasioned by the naira redesign policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria, first announced on October 26, 2022. The NBS added that on a month-on-month basis, the percentage change in the all items index in February 2023 was 1.71%, which was 0.16 percent points lower than the rate recorded in January 2023. The International Air Transport Association has disclosed that the trapped funds belonging to foreign airlines operating in Nigeria have risen by 12.39% to $743 million in January 2023 from $662 million in the corresponding period last year. IATA disclosed this in a letter addressed to the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, signed by the Area Manager West and Central Africa, Samson Fatokun. The association urged the minister to intervene and ensure the resolution of the issue of airlines' blocked funds in Nigeria. We'll take a break and return with stock market report. And for the third time this week, equities trading on the floor of the Nigerian Exchange Group closed in the red zone as investors sold mostly the shares of United Capital PLC and University Press alongside 17 other equities. Now increased activities on the sell side of the bourse pushed further south the market's benchmark performance index by 0.42% to close at 55,490 basis points. Investors lost 127 billion naira as market capitalization closed at 30.2 trillion naira. Now compared with the previous trading day, today's data shows 181 million volume of shares were traded in 3,908 deals. A switch now to the global scene. It's not a good trading day in the US and UK. The FTSE has plummeted to a 3-month low ahead of Chancellor Jeremy Hunt's spring budget. The FTSE is down at 3.49%, while the Dow Jones is also down at 1.9%. 0.74% as pressure on the financial sector increased the shares of Credit Suisse, a Swiss bank that has large U.S. and global operations, tumbling down more than 15%. Now that's the stock market report. Simisola, back to you.
Thank you, Mary, for that update. And in Malawi, rescuers are still struggling to reach survivors in the country's battered city of Blantyre after Cyclone Freddy struck southern Africa for a second time, triggering floods and landslides that have killed more than 240 people across 2 countries. Red Cross Malawi spokesman Felix Washon told newsmen they have been hoisting people from trees and rooftops. Rescue workers in Malawi also warned that more victims were to be expected as they searched destroyed neighborhoods for survivors as thunderstorms persist and flood levels remained high in some areas, hampering emergency efforts. Authorities in neighboring Mozambique have so far reported 21 deaths, and the death toll there is expected to rise. In sports, Morocco will join Spain and Portugal in a bid to host the 2030 World Cup. The announcement on Tuesday was made through a statement signed by King Mohammed VI and read at a meeting of the Confederation of African Football. Morocco committed to taking part in the 2030 bid more than 4 years ago, immediately after losing the vote for the 2026 tournament, and was in talks with the Iberian nations for a while, but had never been officially included in the bid. Last October, Spain and Portugal were joined in the long-standing European candidacy by Ukraine, which is not likely to remain in the bid. Well, that's our bulletin this evening. Many thanks for watching. I am Simisola Adiko.